Hi everyone, this is Tutor from Uplatz. If you want to know more about Uplatz, you can log on to uplatz.com or can contact us by the mentioned email and phone number on this slide. As of now, we have created an application. We created few objects and we added some fields. We have discussed about the data types, and on today's module we will discuss student. We will create a student activity object. Then we will go with student activity junction object, and by creating junction object we understand the one many-to-many relationship in Salesforce, and at the end we will talk about schema builder. As of now we have seen schema builder, and we created an object with schema builder, but still there is a lot more to know about schema builder other than creating objects. So let's recap what we have done so far. I just log into Salesforce with this login.salesforce.com. I added my credential, hit the login button, and it landed us on the setup page. I'll go to app launcher. We click on our application, Uplatz University. Here, as of now, we have created these three objects, and in our previous module, we created student request, but we did not create any relationship between student object and student request object. Mm, But now we were not going to create any relationship between student and student request. Instead, we will use profiles. I'll explain that in our later module. So to understand junction object, we will create another object. We'll create another object named student activity, and we will create a relationship of student activity with student, and we'll create a junction object to create a relationship between objects and between objects and between student activity object with the student object. So let's create these object. To create object, we know either we can click on this setup button, and from the setup button we can go to object manager, and from or we can directly search for schema builder here. If there is no need to go to schema builder from here, there is another way to navigate to schema builder. We click on setup. In the quick find box, there is a quick find box. Here we can search for schema. Here we go. If I click here on schema builder, here it is. Two ways to do same thing, but we have already created one object from the schema builder, but this time we will use our custom object, use this point and click method. Now we need to create student activity object. Student activity, plural. I give a copy and paste for plural. Student activities. I'll leave everything as default. I just click on this launch new custom tab wizard. I click on save. We'll select the tab here. I give building block. Click on next. Profile, I'll leave it as default. Application, we are creating only for Uplatz University. Click on it. Click on save button. Okay, now we need to we have this default student activity name field created, and now we need to create one more field. We'll create a text field. We'll choose text data type here. Click on next button. Coach name. Length, let's say 16 would be fine for a name. I'll leave everything as default. We have already discussed this. Click on next button. all the profiles, click on next. Layout, we have already discussed about layout. Here we are. We are done with the student activity. Okay, so now we understand why do we need a many-to-many relationship between student and student activity. For that, I'll open Excel. Okay, so suppose here we have student names. Let's call it student names. Student name, and then we have activities. Okay, suppose there are students. I'll write down their names. John, Dexter, um, Phil, Smith, Ron, James. And suppose we have activities like music. We have football. We have painting. Then we have others as well. Okay, so currently um, we have we have we have 6 students and we have 4 activities. So now if John takes music, then there are chances that Dexter will also take music. So 2 students and 1 activity. So here it becomes, if we, in this way it becomes a one-to-many relationship. One activity is chosen by multiple students, but at the same time John can also take music and football. So one student can take multiple activities. So it is many-to-many relationship. So one lookup or master detail won't serve the purpose here, because once multiple students can select multiple activities at the same time. So this is a fine example of many-to-many relationship. To create many-to-many relationship, we need to create a third object. We need to create a third object named student activity junction object. Let's create a third object here. To do that, we'll go to Object Manager, click on Create, click on Custom Object. Here we give it a name, student activity junction. Plural will be same. I'll leave everything as default. Let's give it auto number. If required, we will change it in a later module, but as of now, I'm keeping it student activity number. Here I give st act. Start numbering will be 1. Click on this tab, click save. Still waiting for tabs to load. Just give it a refresh here. Okay. Tabs. We got the tab here. Choose any style, castle. I click on next. We have all the profiles. Leave this as default. Click on next. Instead of choosing all the application, let's choose Uplatz University. Quick click on save. Okay, so here we have created a third object. Now we need to create two master detail relationships. Click on new. To create a field here, I select data type as master detail relationship. You can read the description to know more about the master detail relationship. Then we click next, and then here we will choose student. Here we have list of all the objects. We'll choose student. Click on next. Field name will be student. Next. All the profiles. We got the layout. We click on next and click. We need another field. I clicked on save and new. Then again I click on master detail relationship. Click on next. Related to here we have student activities. Student activity. We click on next. Field name as student underscore activity. Profiles, leave this as then we have layout. Click on next. Then we finally click on save. Let's see this in action. Now to see this, to create records here, I go to app launcher. I go to our application Uplatz University. Okay, so now we have student activities. So first I'll create a record in student activities. I click new button. Let's say music, and coach name is Smith. I hit the save button. Let's create another object. We activity name I give football. Coach name will be James. I save. So now we have two activities in our university. Now we have student. We have list of students. Now we have have list of activities. Now we need to create a relationship between the student and activities. To do that, I click on new button here. Here, suppose we have student named Dexter, and Dexter wants to opt for music. Now this makes sense, and we click on save, and we'll create another record here. To do that, I can click this drop down. I click this plus button here, new student activity junction, and we have another student named John here. Click on John. On the student activity, he can again choose music, and click on save. We'll create the last record here to understand many-to-many relationship. Dexter has already opted for music, and now Dexter also wants for football. Okay, now we click save. Here, the purpose of creating this student activity junction object is to understand many-to-many relationship. We have list of students, then we have list of activities, and multiple number of students can opt for uh, more than one activities. So that's why student activity, a junction object can serve this purpose. Okay, now before we jump into profiles, let's see Schema Builder first. We will see what else we can do in Schema Builder other than creating schema. Click on Schema Builder. So I just hit this clear all button here. One thing we know that we can create objects, and we can create fields on that objects. We have all the data types available here, and other thing we can do is, if we want to understand what is how one object is related to another object, if they are related or not, if we want to know this, we can select those objects. As of now, we have created the student object. I check all these, and other than students, we created one transport. As of now, we have created these objects. I just scrolled up to understand our relationship here. Okay, I just sort them in a way. Okay, so we have student activity junction. Okay, so as of now, we have created these 5 objects in our application so far, and that's it. We're not going to create any more objects as of now. Now we will move to other functionalities of Salesforce. We are done with the objects. We're not going to repeat this again now. So now if we want to understand the relationship between the objects, so here we can see student activity object is related to student activity junction object. As of now, you can see that we have created master detail relationship. So here student is also related to student activity junction object, and student is also related to transport object, and the fifth one is student request. It is not related to any object. So in a relationship, we always we can say there is one parent object and one child object. In in one to many relationship, there is one parent and multiple childs. This one to many relationship, we also call it parent child relationship, where one parent can have multiple child. Here our student is a parent object, and student activity junction object is a child object. So one student can have multiple activities. So this is the parent object, and this symbol represents a child object. So here we have student object, and the child object is student activity junction object. And in case of transport, transport is a parent object. One type of transport can be can be one type of one mode of transportation can be opted by n number of students. So transport will remain one, and multiple students can choose that. For example, we have added types of transportation as mini car. We have added minivan. So for example, a minivan, one van can be used by n number of students as per the capacity of minivan. Suppose a minivan has 20 seats, then 20 students can take a minivan. So here one minivan can be used by 20 students. So student is a child object for transport, and at the same time student is a parent object to student activity junction. So here we have seen the relationship between the objects that we have created so far. If you want to understand other relationship between other objects, so you can also do that. I click on clear all, and suppose there is a standard object named account, and then there is standard object named account. If you want to understand the relationship between both of them, here you can see account here is a parent object, and contact is the child object, and this symbol represents this is the child object. And here we have example of one-to-one relationship where contact has a self relationship. Contact is parent, but contact is also a child. So if we create a lookup field on account object, and we select account as well, then that would be a self relationship. So this is one of the wonderful feature to understand the schema. For this is very helpful when in future, if you got job in Salesforce and you have a already built project in front of you and you want to understand the relationship between the objects, then this is a wonderful tool. With the help of Schema Builder, you can understand the schema, you can understand the structure of the project. So this is again one of the good features provided by Salesforce. So in today's module, we understood many-to-many relationship. We have seen Schema Builder and how Schema Builder helps to understand the structure of a project, and you can you can understand the relationship between the other standard objects available in Salesforce. And you can also try to create all those objects we have created. And on our next module, we will be editing page layouts. We will understand the features available on page layouts. We will be working on profiles. We will be creating users in our coming modules. So till the time, keep practicing. Thank you so much, and have a happy learning.